Alright fellas, here we are back in Pokemon Masters, and that's not the right timeline, that's the right timeline. So, wanted to do an Datamine prediction video, where I just basically think about what's going to be coming in the Datamine that's coming next, and this one being so close to the anniversary is actually a very interesting Datamine, because generally for August, they split it into two, as to not spoil the, not even anniversary hype, but even just part 2 hype, I guess, for whatever. Like, if we look at last year, they split the Datamine here to where the last day was August 5th. I don't think they're going to do that again this year, at least not to this extent. I think, well, okay, it was about August 8th, but whatever. I think they'll do probably up until the run-up itself for, you know, when we're going to get the Datamine. But obviously they split it up last month because, you know, part 2 of the Hoenn villain arc released, and it gave us Sigma Suit Steven, which is anniversary bait. They also gave us everything for the run-up to the 3 years, which was the rerun for Maxie and Archie, as well as giving us all of the special sync pairs as well, and, you know, the seasonal Select Scout. I feel that if they do split it up, which is definitely possible, I think they'll definitely split it all the way up until the beginning of the run-up to the anniversary. So we'll be, in theory, just in my opinion, I think we'll probably see everything from the end of this month, about which I think the next Datamine, next Datamine content is probably going to start around the 31st of July. So I'm going to assume that that's when we're going to get the most content, so that's probably where this will start at for the next Datamine, and I feel we'll get that all the way up until the 15th of August, which is when the anniversary run-up starts. I feel like that's probably what we're going to be getting, right? In terms of the next Datamine. So, I kind of want to go over what I think we may be getting during that time, and a little bit after that into the run-up of the anniversary itself, because realistically, predicting what's going to happen at this point, after the Galar villain arc, because that's what's going to be, the part 2 of that is going to be coming out first, around the 31st, and that's probably going to be lasting for most of the content up until around the 4th or 5th. Anything after that, it's kind of iffy on what I can say will happen, because I literally don't know. They could drop new sync pairs, they could drop reruns of old sync pairs and old events, they could bring new events, there's a lot they could do, right? So I can't really state too much on that, but I do want to think about the big things that may be coming, at least for the Galar villain arc, and the run-up to the anniversary. Those are the 2 big things that I want to kind of look at. So, let's look at this month here. So, again, as I said, the Galar villain arc is likely to drop on the 31st, in my opinion, and I think this could bring us 2 to 3 new sync pairs, maybe 4, but I doubt that, but it's still possible. And the first sync pair I think we're going to be potentially getting is a new Victor. So, most villain arcs tend to give the main characters alternative outfits, or in like Lucas's case, it actually would release the character. So I feel it's definitely time. Victor definitely could get an alt right now. He's a main character, so he's popular enough. And I feel he could definitely get, you know, an alt right now. Also, Gloria. It's been a year since her last alt with, you know, Dojo Gloria. So I feel that it's definitely a decent enough time to give her another alt, even though, you know, she does already have quite a few, at least especially in comparison to Victor, but they're both protagonists, why not? It's the Galar villain arc, they want you to be able to, they want to bait you to summon, right? I feel like these 2 are definitely the most likely options for getting alts. As to who they could get, I think there's quite a few different options, one of them being Cinderace. I do think Cinderace is a likely possibility. It's the only Galar starter that's left out. It could be a very strong fire pair, and they could definitely make it unique to make people want to summon for it. I think that's viable. Another character I think they could, or Pokemon I think they could have, is maybe Melmetal. Now I think that one's a little bit more far-fetched, but I do think it's also possible as well, bringing in another very strong Steel-type Pokemon and whatnot. It fits the Gigantamax theme that we have going on so far, because Rose and Oleana, wrong Datamine, I'm actually going to close this one, but we have Rose and Oleana right now. They both have Gigantamax Caparajah and Garbodor. And I feel that Victor could potentially have Gigantamax Cinderace or Gigantamax Melmetal, and Gloria could have the other one, right? I think that makes enough sense. I also feel they could bring in Calyrex Shadow Rider, I think that's what it's called, or Regidrago or Regieleki. Those are definitely some distinct possibilities for these 2 specifically. I think both Regis would be a great fit for these characters. If not, maybe go for another Gigantamax sync pair. Again, Cinderace is one, Melmetal's another one, but you could definitely replace Melmetal with maybe like Corviknight, or it's going to take me a while to think of Gigantamax sync pairs or Gigantamax Pokemon. Let's think, hold on. Gmax Pokemon. Let's see. Because I actually do forget. They could do starters, but I don't think they'll do that for Galar. They could potentially release another Inteleon, get a double starter setup going on here, and give us Gigantamax Inteleon, maybe Shiny, who knows. Maybe a Dreadnought, since Nessa doesn't have it, but I think they could give Nessa the Gigantamax on her own. There's some different characters or Pokemon they can release. Maybe they'll release whatever the form of Urshifu this is. I forget. Single Strike, I think. I don't remember. I don't remember what the name of the Urshifu form is, but you could definitely potentially release that as well. You would know for Victor, or give them both to Gloria. Why not? But yeah, I think those are definitely some viable options. Cinderace, Melmetal, Urshifu. Those are some pretty big ones, I would say. Potentially Shiny Inteleon. Those would be cool. So that's both Gloria and Victor there. Of course, also the Regis. They would make a lot of sense for these two specifically. New Electric and Dragon Sync pairs would be very, very nice. Very, very good bait. Another character I think they could bring in is obviously another Leon. Leon, I think they could potentially use for the anniversary if they really want to, but I think they probably would decide to use it for the villain arc itself just to keep that hype, going. Not that Victor and Gloria aren't hype, but they could potentially release another a third sync pair in this Leon here, which could be very, very good. He could be the one to have Cinderace for sure as well, since he picks the Galar starter that the characters don't have. Since Gloria has Thwackey and Inteleon, and Victor has Rillaboom, I think that leaving the last starter available, Cinderace, could definitely go to Leon, right? That'd be very powerful. You could also potentially give him a Dragapult. I think that's actually a very viable setup. Let's look at Leon's team here. So you got Rookidee, but yeah, let's see. He's got himself a Dragapult. That's definitely a big one. It's the big pseudo legendary. They could give it Gigantamaxing. They give it Dynamaxing if they want to. Why not? Dragon Ghost. He could still be a very, very strong Pokemon. Sorry, but yeah, I don't think they'll give him another Charizard, but I think Cinderace or Dragapult are definitely like the likely options with Leon here. You could potentially also give him the Shadowrex Calyrex, or Shadow Rider Calyrex. I forget whatever I said. Because he's got the ice one, Ice Rider. May as well give him the Shadow one too, but I don't know. I think it's a viable option itself, but I'm more leaning towards Dragapult or Cinderace for him specifically. You could potentially also... You could throw in a random Pokemon, really. Maybe like a random legendary, like a Zarude, though I don't think that really fits. He's a mythical, but still. I don't think that would fit, but it's possible, I guess. And the last character I think is possible for the Galar villain arc, and this may go into a little bit of spoilers for the Galar villain arc itself, is Pierce. Why Pierce? He appeared at the very end of the Galar villain arc alongside Leon as, characters that are like, we're going to go fight back and do our battles or whatever else. He appeared at the very end of the part 1 of the Galar villain arc. And was pretty notable throughout the story. So I feel they may give him a sync pair, and honestly, there's not many characters I think are Pokemon that I think are viable for Pierce. Scrafty doesn't make much sense. Malamar, Skuntank, Obstagoon makes the most sense, but obviously he already has it. I think the only real viable option is to give him a Toxtricity. Gmax Toxtricity, and then potentially he can have one of the low-key or high-key forms. I think low-key fits him a little bit more. And then potentially later on release a Marnie sync pair, or if they really wanted to be fucking insane, 4 months after the Neo Champions, they could release another Marnie alongside this Pierce for the Galar villain arc and give them both Toxtricity. I think it could happen. I don't think it's too likely, but it's definitely possible they release, 2 Toxtricities along with Marnie and Pierce here. But Pierce, I definitely think is viable for getting an alt. He's a relatively popular character, at least in the Galar standing. But the big ones I'm more leaning towards are obviously Gloria, Victor, and Leon. I think that makes the most sense. These 3 characters are the most hype characters, besides like maybe Marnie. Honestly, I don't think there's any character that's probably more hype besides her. Yeah, so these are the big 3 I think are possible for the Galar villain arc. Of course, they could potentially release all 4 of these characters, or just completely say screw me and release like a Hop, a Nessa, and a Bee or something, just completely random. I don't think that's likely. I think Victor, Gloria, and Leon are the most likely options. Pierce, definitely, I think I could see that happening as well. And I wouldn't mind a Pierce, honestly. Pierce alt, who doesn't have one yet, they could give him a Toxtricity. It'd be really cool. But yeah, that's my standings on what we could get for the Galar villain arc. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Next is the run-up to the half anniversary, not the anniversary, not the half, just the normal anniversary. The 4th anniversary, last year, obviously, we got the run-up, which consisted of the new special sync pair here with the Giovanni and Persian, as well as rerunning Maxie and Archie, as well as their Extreme Battle event. I'm pretty sure this also gives like a bingo and stuff like that as well, so I think we could definitely see that again as well. And then they obviously dropped over the course of a few days. They released Misty and Psyduck and Blue and Arcanine, as well as the 10 free tickets alongside that. I think in order to coincide, or at least make something equal to Maxie and Archie's release or rerun, I think the thing that would be the most equal to that would be the rerun of the Johto trio. It's been a little over a year. I'm pretty sure these guys were released in June. It was not April and it was not May, because May was the part 1, so it was June. June is when these guys released last year. It will be August if they release again. That's a year and 2 months. I think that's definitely a long enough time for these units to go without running. I think that makes quite a bit of sense. These characters are very desired even this amount of time later. People will definitely waste gems, quote-unquote waste, of course, gems on these characters, because of their level of strength, level of hype, and, level of usability. Signature Chris is still one of the best supports in the game, a character that I personally really, really want. Lyra and Celebi, extremely crazy. Grassy terrain is still not the most available zone, field effect. And I definitely feel like people would still want that if you missed out on Signature Acerola or Holiday Whitney. Lyra here is definitely an amazing option, especially because of her debuffs, her flinch, her nuke, her just DPS as well. All of the things that she's able to do are amazing, and she's definitely one of the best units in the game still, for sure. And Signature Chris is definitely one of the best supports in the game, just in general. Ethan, or Jimmy... Now, Ethan and Lugia, not really so much, but they're still good, for sure, and people would definitely like to summon for them. Pretty cool outfit with Ethan here, and Lugia is obviously a very popular Pokemon, for sure. Probably the weakest in terms of all of these, all 3 of these guys, but I definitely could see them, getting some sales as well. But Chris and Lyra would be the ones that are pretty much carrying the performance of these banners, for sure. I definitely think they could replace Maxie and Archie, and I definitely think that's a very realistic scenario. You could obviously rerun the Johto villain arc again, and you could release their Extreme Battle event as well, just for a little bit more content. And it would definitely make a lot of sense, in my opinion. It would make a lot of sense to release these sync pairs again. But anyway, if they don't release the Johto villain arc, or not the Johto villain arc, but these Johto villain arc characters again, which I think is a very likely option, but I don't think it's guaranteed, obviously. We don't know anything, it's not guaranteed until it happens. But I think Zygarde and Serena's re-release is definitely something that could happen in its stead. I personally see Serena's rerun more as a random Masters Day rerun, because it's just one character, but she's still very strong, for sure. Not anywhere as strong as she used to be, but she's still pretty strong, right? Or she's still as strong as she used to be. Content really hasn't changed that much, but, obviously she's going to be overshadowed by a lot of pairs now, whereas with the Johto trio, not really so much, but still. Zygarde and Serena, very strong sync pair. You could re-release her event as well, and, some events around it, because I remember, I didn't play during the 2.5-year anniversary, back when she released, or at least around that time, but I do remember I was able to pull her on that banner, and I wasn't really too big into the event, so I never really did it or anything around it. But I do think they could obviously re-release that stuff, and, that'd be nice, right? So yeah. If they don't do the Johto trio rerun, I do think Zygarde and Serena is definitely the next most likely option. I think there's a very small chance that they rerun the 2nd or 3rd year anniversary characters instead. The 3-year anniversary of the characters, I think they're going to save for New Year's, like they did for the 2nd anniversary characters, and the 2nd anniversary characters already rerun 8 months ago for the most part, so I don't really see them rerunning them again this soon. So yeah, I don't really know about that one, but Zygarde and Serena or the Johto trio, those are definitely my personal picks for the reruns of characters, to try and bait people, so yeah. Okay. And of course, just to make sense, they would obviously re-release the special sync pair events, with Giovanni and Persian, Blue and Arcanine, and Misty and Psyduck. This just makes the most sense. I don't know, they wouldn't... I find it unlikely that they wouldn't run these characters. I don't know if they rerun Blue and Misty during the 3.5. I actually do not remember that at all. I could definitely search it up here. Let's see. So, I actually do not remember. Let's see. 2023. Did they rerun? I think they may only rerun Giovanni. I could be wrong, though. 3.5 year celebration. Okay, it was a little bit before this. Okay. So, let's see. Yeah, it looks like they only rerun Giovanni and Persian, which is a little bit odd, but I do think that they could still rerun all three of these characters. It makes a decent bit of sense to me. So yeah, they could potentially also rerun Bugsy, but they've been very adamant about not rerunning him for whatever reason. But I think now would be a great time too. He's a very, very strong sync pair. Very, very sought after for a lot of people who were unable to obtain him, because he was only obtainable before the 2nd anniversary, and that's, in my opinion, when the game really started getting quite a bit of traction, was during their second anniversary. So this is definitely going to give a lot of people the ability to, pick him back up whenever they, were unable to, of course, right? So Bugsy, I think, could rerun. Maybe they release a new one, because Giovanni obviously released during the 3rd anniversary, or, the 3rd anniversary run-up. So I think maybe they could release another character. Who would it be? I don't know. These are all Kanto characters, so maybe a Brock, Erica, Sabrina, Blaine, one of the gym leaders, maybe, or Elite Four members. Maybe I doubt they do a freelance, but still, they could do one of those characters like that. I think someone like Brock or Erica or Sabrina or something like that. I think those are the most likely options, but obviously I don't really know. They could just not even do a Kanto character and do someone completely random, right? But still, a new one would be cool, but, I can't really state who it would be, but still, I think the rerun of these guys at the very least are the most likely, options. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, and obviously, I do think they're obviously going to rerun, or do the 10 free multis thing again, where you can basically get a bunch of general pool, sync pairs, power-ups, whatever, for free. You'll be getting 10 multis worth, or just 100 sync pairs, really, so 10 tickets for, 10 characters, so 10 times 10, 100. You can get a bunch of cool characters that way. It's a good way to get people caught up whenever they don't have specific characters or anything like that. Maybe you're a new player and you need some general pool sync pairs. This is the best way to do it, of course. They've done this for every single anniversary since the 2nd anniversary, so there's no reason for them to do it again, or not do it again, I mean. So I think it's going to happen. Last year for the 3.5 anniversary, we got this select champion ticket. I don't know if they would do this again, especially with champions, but they definitely could. I think it's a possibility. At the very least, I think they may give us some sort of Pokefair, free Pokefair, like maybe put Red, Classic Blue, some of these relatively old characters in there, like Iris and Diantha are definitely some viable options as well. I don't think they do Ingo or Emmett. Those characters are still just too good. But, characters like that, maybe like Lear, I don't know. Maybe some pretty solid characters they would put in here for free. I kind of doubt it though. I think they'll just do these champions again, if anything, or maybe another copy of the Kanto trio for free. So you can do Red, Leaf, or Blue. I definitely think that could be possible as well. Or they may not even do this. I definitely think it's possible that they don't even do a free Pokefair and they just give us like a select or something like that, because obviously last anniversary they gave us a seasonal select for the run-up, to kind of coincide with the run-up / the anniversary itself. I think they could definitely give us that. I would kind of honestly prefer another select Pokefair or seasonal scout instead of having one of these free tickets, but whatever, that's just my opinion. But yeah, the 100 characters, definitely, we're going to get that again for sure. There's no doubt in my mind about that, but yeah. That's about it, honestly. I don't think I have anything else I can really mention for the anniversary itself in terms of its run-up and characters that are going to be releasing next month in general. Could we get another Variety Scout? Maybe, because obviously we got the Akala Passion Trainer Files. Maybe they could do like Ula Ula and release, an Acerola and Nanu or something, whatever they want to do. I think it's definitely possible they could do that. I'm not really going to bet on it, though, but whatever they want to do, right? They could definitely, release the Galar Villain arc and then release some cool rerun events and then release the the 4th anniversary run-up events with, you know, the reruns of potential master fairs, you know, the release of those team-up events with Giovanni, Misty, and Blue. I think then that can just all segue into the anniversary itself. Obviously, you know, release the Battle Viola in between Legendary Arena missions, the Blissful Bonanza, maybe some egg events, whatever. I think they could do all of that, of course, just normal stuff as well. But this is pretty much my ideas for the big stuff that they'll be releasing for the anniversary, not the anniversary, next month, you know, for the Galar villain arc and the run-up to the anniversary itself. But yeah, let me know what opinions you may have for what they are gonna potentially do. I obviously don't know everything. I don't know anything at all, actually. So yeah, give me some ideas on what you may want to see. I think the Galar villain arc characters that I stated are probably the more likely thing. And then just the reruns of those free characters and potential master fairs for the villain arcs. I think, or not the villain arc, the anniversary run-up. I think that's about the best. I think that's the most accurate thing I've probably done for this video. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you want to see next month in the Datamine, or for the Datamine next month, I guess. Or for the Datamine that's going to come for the content for next month. Sure, that, whatever. But yeah, I'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know your ideas down in the comments below, I guess.